Hello, this is Startup News. In this video, I'll share the latest news about AR and VR startups. We'll talk about the augmented reality startup Magic Leap, two most wanted mixed reality startups from China, about the most stylish AR technology that won't make anyone look goggle-eyed, and many more AR and VR startups await you. Let's go! Magic Leap is the augmented reality startup with big dreams and some big moments of hubris thus far. Yes, it's been an interesting life for this startup. But the startup ran into an issue that faced many others in this field. The consumer market for a $2,300 mixed reality headset was simply non-existent. It therefore took the same action as any extremely well-funded but struggling company. Magic Leap made a turn. It unexpectedly found itself in the business world, fighting for the same corporate clients that attracted Microsoft and Epson. Even at CES 2023, where the company showed their pivot, it was clearly visible their new direction. The demos weren't games anymore. One of them shows a 3D image of the human brain, indicating its potential for usage in medical contexts. Another has a mountain that appears. A wildfire spreads in the foreground. Small helicopters fly in a circle in the air above. Magic Leap has provided a group of healthcare companies with early access to its second-generation augmented reality headset. One of the companies offers software that allows doctors to see a 3D model of a patient's heart while they're operating them. Another company wants to make its mixed reality viewer software available on Magic Leap 2. The startup announced that they have raised $500 million at a $2 billion valuation from existing investors. The company has raised $3.5 billion in total funding. Nreal, a producer of AR glasses, and is one of the most watched mixed reality startups in China. This is the company which hopes to bring AR to the masses by making bright-color lightweight smart glasses. Nreal has just received $60 million in a Series C extension round, bringing its total funding to $200 million within a year. The new investment is led by Alibaba, and it is purely financial. In theory, the two could have generated strategic synergies. One could easily imagine Alibaba hooking Nreal up with its gaming and video streaming units, or even having it develop smart glasses for its millions of food delivery riders who recently began wearing voice-controlled helmets. But now, with the onset of China's antitrust crackdown, the country's tech companies need to be more cautious with any investment that can be perceived as unfair competition. Despite being China-based, Nreal targets on 6 overseas countries, including Japan and the US. With the proceeds from its latest round, Nreal will finally make a foray into China this year. Meet another Chinese virtual reality startup. This startup is focusing on the mobile VR hardware market, where headsets depend on smartphones' computer power. Comparable to Samsung Gear VR and Google Daydream, Pico's VR headsets provide an untethered VR experience that is more practical and affordable for the average consumer who may not want to spend hundreds of dollars on an Oculus Rift or HTC Vive. Yes, they offer higher quality but require a computer connection. The startup is developing what are known as self-contained headsets. They try to merge the best of both worlds from PC and mobile-based devices by packing the processing power directly into the headset. Perfecting inside-out tracking would further close the gap between PC and mobile VR, as it would allow interactivity without the hassle of setting up cameras and sensors. This year at CES, Pico made a splash by introducing its newest flagship, the Pico Neo CV. Also, I need to say that Pico, bought by TikTok parent ByteDance back in August, has struck a major partnership with Qualcomm to push further into the extended reality space. The Qualcomm Snapdragon Spaces developer program, created to help developers prepare their apps for extended reality, will power Pico's XR products. The Snapdragon Spaces platform wants developers to create experiences for augmented reality glasses and make them available through current smartphones, making AR the second screen for consumers rather than submerging them in a virtual reality environment. So, what I can say for now is that Chinese hardware isn't bad anymore. It can compete with international companies in this field. Nobody wants to be goggle-eyed, and this AR startup is making this technology look pretty cool. This startup, Lumus, develops technology that makes it more simpler for manufacturers of eyewear to construct spectacles that resemble glasses and can accommodate prescription lenses. The new glasses feature the Z-Lens 2D waveguide technology's second generation, which has the size and weight of the technology required to bring augmented reality to life. With all of its upgrades, Z-Lens enables the augmented reality future that users have been anxiously awaiting. The lenses have a head-up display that is visible even in direct sunlight, a 2K resolution, and shockingly rich colors. Utilizing so-called reflection waveguides, the technology enables the tiny projectors housed inside the eyeglass frames to project on the interior of the semi-translucent lenses. The low light leakage is another benefit, making it nearly hard to detect from the front that someone wearing them is receiving information through their eye holes. So, write in the comments, would you wear such glasses? Rendever is another mixed reality startup, but this one focused on the elderly, and recently it acquired Alcove from AARP. Rendever operates as a B2B service. It works with care homes and other organizations to create customized VR experiences that are in turn used for those organizations' elderly residents. But Alcove is more consumer-facing and is currently sold as a service to AARP's members. It describes itself as a family-oriented virtual reality app. Available to use on Meta Oculus Quest, the app is laid out as a virtual living room where families can meet and look at photos, play games, watch movies, or just converse together. Financial terms of the deal are not being disclosed, but from what we understand, Rendever is paying cash for Alcove, and AARP is taking equity in Rendever as part of the deal. The idea that there is an untapped market of users who could be a perfect audience for VR formed part of the premise for Rendever getting started in the first place. They had the idea of bringing VR into senior living communities to address social isolation, which took on a different urgency during the pandemic. To this time, they have delivered over 2 million experiences in VR to older adults. This startup is largely bootstrapped. It has raised less than $500,000 in the last 8 years, but it's now using the fact that it is profitable and growing while addressing an evolving market to go out for its Series A. This startup has found a perfect and well-paying use for VR. Gemba, an enterprise-focused virtual reality training startup used by some of the world's biggest companies, has raised $18 million in a series round of funding. This startup collaborates with professionals in the relevant industries to create and conduct so-called virtual masterclasses on topics like supply chain management and lean manufacturing. A Gemba masterclass is completely interactive. It is 3D, immersive, and uses the same software that is used to produce 90% of video games. You can do everything you can do in real life in Gemba, plus a lot more that you can't do in real life, like freely moving around, grabbing objects, and taking part in simulations. Every participant has an associated avatar, and they are all free to join from virtually any location, such as their office or family room. A typical masterclass has 25 top executives from various industries in attendance, including vice presidents from reputable companies. It has 2 guest speakers from organizations, like Amazon, in addition to 1 masterclass leader who is an acknowledged subject matter expert. This VR enables customers to cut travel expenses and time while also helping them adhere to any corporate carbon reduction objectives that may be in place. Although enterprise subscriptions are available starting at about $120,000 for a 50-person team per year and going all the way up to $1.2 million for bigger scale rollouts, Gemba's courses aren't exactly inexpensive, with each masterclass costing about $7,000 per person per program. Perhaps with this technology we will soon be using VR in our daily lives. Enter Emperia, an immersive retail startup that has created virtual stores for brands including Bloomingdale's, Dior, Ralph Lauren, and Lacoste. Launched in 2019, the idea came from one of the co-founders, Olga Dogodkina, who previously worked in the luxury retail sector. Brands may use the resources on Emperia's platform to build virtual experiences, including VR storefronts. It interfaces with currently available stock management and e-commerce software to track customer demographics, store activity, and purchases. With Emperia, businesses can hold live events where hosts guide attendees through a virtual environment or design exhibits and displays using 3D models and photographs of actual merchandise. Importantly, users of Emperia's virtual places do not need to wear VR headsets. The technology, which can be integrated into already existing websites, works with phones, desktops, and tablets without the need to download any software or apps. Emperia has 45 clients in industries like fashion, beauty, high-end clothing, and sports. A $10 million Series A investment has also been made in it. This startup immediately found a great ally to empower AR. Memomi is an AR optical tech business that provides a virtual eyeglasses try-on experience. It is now partnered with Walmart. Walmart intends to buy Memomi in addition to broadening its selection of virtual try-on services for customers. Terms of the agreement were not made public, but according to the retailer, Memomi has enabled digital measurements for all Walmart and Sam's Club customers since 2019. More than 2,800 Walmart Vision Centers and 550 Sam's Clubs had participated in this partnership. The technology also supports samsclub.com's optical e-commerce platform. On its website, Memomi promotes how its technology may be used in a variety of industries besides optics, such as cosmetics, fashion, accessories, footwear, and more. Customers are looking for access to care digitally, in their homes, and purchasing eyeglasses is no different. So, which startup did you like best? Write in the comments your favorite VR and AR startup. Subscribe to my channel and be sure to like it. Thank you all for watching.